Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations, where we generally look at one or another lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. I thought today we'd take a look at the lesson that's assigned from the book of the Acts of the Apostles. We're working our way through the ministry, the early ministry of the church, as the disciples are beginning to figure out how it is that God is calling them to minister, not just among the Jews, but among the Gentiles as well. We know that St. Paul very quickly realizes that God the Holy Spirit is calling him to minister to the Gentiles. But it's going to take a little while for Peter to figure that out, how it is exactly that God has included the Gentiles, those who are outside of the original covenant, that they are now included in the plans for a relationship with God through Jesus Christ. So we're on the 10th chapter, beginning at the first verse, but I'm going to jump up here to verse number 9. On the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up to the housetop to pray about the 6th hour, and he became very hungry, and would have eaten. But while they made ready, he fell into a trance, and saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at 4 corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of 4-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Peter, kill, and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. And the voice spake unto him again the second time, What God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. And while Peter doubted in himself what this vision was that it should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house, and stood before the gate, and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, was lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore, and get thee down, and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. And Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom thou seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that feareth God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by an holy angel to send for thee unto his house, and to hear words of thee. Then called he them in, and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Okay, so it's going to take an angel getting Peter's attention and saying to him, look, off you go. You're going to go minister to the Gentiles. Obviously, the centurion is trying to figure out who God is and wants to know the truth. And God has a plan for Cornelius, of course, which is to bring him into relationship with himself. And so he's going to use Peter to send that message. But the first part that we read today has to do, of course, with the other bigger reality that not only are we including the Gentiles, but the purity, the ritual food laws of the original covenant have now been done away. And we hear that Peter is told that those things that were considered unclean in the original covenant are now allowable, right? So thanks be to God, we can now have bacon and have a relationship with God. And, you know, I have a neighbor, I ride my bike to rowing practice in the mornings, and there's a guy who lives near the boathouse, and he's got this van with all these sayings on there, and he tries to, written on there, that says that God doesn't want you to eat meat. You're not supposed to kill animals. And yet, you know, the reality is that's part of God's created order. And in fact, he's going to be very surprised if he actually opens up his Bible and discovers that Peter is told that he is to rise, kill, and to eat. It's the way human beings acquire their primitive, their primal nutrition, which is that we do eat meat. It's a part of our diet, right? And so, but this now allows us to eat things that had previously been considered unclean. So this is all kind of an opening up to the way that's going to include not just the people from the original covenant, but the people in the new covenant as well. Today's Thursday, Holy Communion today, 9:00 a.m. with benediction following. And I do hope you can join us in church. May God bless you.